Well, I wanted to welcome you back. This is such an honor for me to be your host for this show. I love being up here and I love sharing this journey with you. And a philosophy that we have in any type of industry, especially beauty, is all about the journey to our dream because it's multiple steps to get there. And the reason why I wanted to play that song as I was working out this morning, preparing for y'all, getting it down, is I was thinking about how much fight we have to have and how much it takes for us to push when we're tired, to wake up and we don't feel like it, our hands hurt, but it is taking a lot of determination and focus to get to your dream. Because there's gonna be people all the time that tell you no, you're not good enough, it's a dumb idea, you should never even thought about it, but here you are. And there's a reason that you're here today. Always, there's a reason. Nothing is by accident. So I wanted to share a little bit about myself for those of you who don't know a lot about me, just a little bit about my journey, because I listen to podcasts, I watch YouTube videos, because I'm always trying to get inspired by other people that are down the same journey as mine, because then you feel like you're not alone. Because the worst feeling is when you feel like you're so alone, and bills are mounting, you don't know how you're gonna pay your bills, you're just kind of making it day by day. I remember those days, and they're not fun. But guess what? You have all these amazing, beautiful professionals here to be by your side. And that's what you wanna do at Congress. You really wanna connect with other people because those people get you. So I started out into Columbus College of Art and Design. I went to an art school. I grew up with not a lot of money, so I had to work really hard to be able to get a scholarship. I show up in art school, and you gotta imagine, there's like skateboarders and all the tattoo, kind of like hippie, but yet just some people wear all black, and they just have a whole different vibe in art school because it's a lot of people did LSD to do paintings, and I mean, they did, so mushrooms, whatever it was. Not that that is the best choice in the world, but so I show up in art school and I'm from the country, I have overalls and pigtails and a silk shirt. Remember the day, okay, anybody that's my age will remember when the silk shirts were in. It's back in remember Beverly Hills 90210? Yeah, so that was silk shirt, overalls. I roll up and I didn't grow up in such a great environment, so I didn't have anybody to help me move into college, and I'm just kind of figuring it out and moving everything up into my dorm. And I feel really, awkward and insecure and out of place, but, I was there to learn, so you just kind of get over that. And I went into color theory class. That was one of my first classes my freshman year. I fell in love. I was like, that is what I'm supposed to do, because color for me was so easy, I could see it. Like it was a gift that I had. And then I remembered, okay, yeah, you won those poster contests. You were always coloring when you were a kid. So then, just like your guys' career, it starts making sense with your past. So then from art school, I went to aesthetic school, but only figuring out what an esthetician was once I started working at the Clinique counter. So while I was in school, I worked at Clinique part-time. And then I was like, I really love my job at Clinique. It doesn't feel like work, so there's something you have to be able to do this professionally. So I discovered esthetician. Well, at that time, you remember, this is 16 years ago. When you asked anybody what an esthetician was, first of all, they said, what? An esthetician, a mortician? No, an esthetician. And an esthetician? No, an esthetician. And they can't even say it half the time anyway. So then I went ahead and went to school. My parents didn't speak to me for a year because I chose to leave the art field and go to this school, and it was a trade school, and they thought I was completely crazy. They thought I should have been in med school. So I didn't really have a good relationship with my parents at all at that point, but I was like, I'm gonna push through. So I worked at a bar at night, tried to pay my way through aesthetic school, and you guys know how school is, right? You barely get through it. You're exhausted, you're so burnt out. I read magazines half the time because I was bored. But I got through this school, and from that school, I went to Aveda. I was the creative director for their spa, and which was the job I got because of my art background. But I also was an esthetician doing services. And then my husband was an entrepreneur, and I was watching him own his own business, and I thought, why can't I do that? There's no rule book. Why not? I'm going to go try that. So then I decided to leave Aveda, and I rented a small room in a salon that had 6 stylists. And I'm telling you, this room was so small, it was like a closet. I had to put shelves up on the wall for my products because you couldn't even fit a cart in there. The only thing I could fit in there was a bed, a steamer, and a mag lamp. That's all I needed to get started, and that's how I started. So after about a year, I was building a lot of clientele, and I was doing quite well. I would have my weeks where I cried because I couldn't pay my rent. I would have my weeks that I was like, I need better equipment. I would have my weeks that I need more products. You ever have those weeks? You ever feel like you don't have enough? Raise your hand. Anybody in that boat? I'm even here at the show with a booth feeling like I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have had this, right? Sometimes we forget the woulda, shoulda, coulda, and we forget like, hey, I got here. So then I got hired at Ohio State Plastic Surgery. Now let me tell you this story. A plastic surgeon came in to get her eyebrows waxed. Had no idea who she was. Dwayne, the stylist, he came back. I was in the break room sobbing because I couldn't pay my rent. Dwayne ran back there. He says, hey, Dwayne is a stylist. Like I said, you got to come here. I got a good client for you. She wants her brows done. He didn't tell me who she was. I was like, okay. So I go up there and, introduce myself, take her back. I love brow shaping. That was one of my passions. And talked to her about her brow shape, what she wanted. Did her brows, sat her up, started chatting with her as we do all clients. And suddenly she goes, Jaclyn, I really like you. Thank you. I like you too. Well, my name is Dr. Gail Gordillo. I run the burn division at Ohio State Plastic Surgery. And I think you would be a perfect fit to run our skincare division. Yes. So imagine coming from, overalls, pigtails, working at Clinique, no one knows what an esthetician was, running a space, had no space, had to put everything up on the walls and barely paying my rent. And this person comes into my life. It changed the trajectory of my entire career. So I went to interview, and with a boardroom of 6 plastic surgeons, they end up loving me, which was fantastic. I was scared to death. I wore all black to the interview, which you never should do, by the way. I'll teach you about color. You should never wear all black. That was a bad decision. And it was really intimidating because this was the big medical hospital of Ohio State, and I had to find where to go, and then I should have went 40 minutes early. Again, woulda, shoulda, coulda. We're never enough. So I got the job. My first day there, I felt like I knew nothing. And I was so overwhelmed. And she's like, don't worry, we'll teach you. So they flew me all over the country. I went to the best training classes. I trained under the best plastic surgeons. And that's how I got my start. Let me tell you, with my start, I never in a million years would think some small town girl from Roundhead, Ohio, that's how they called it, would make it to that level. And then from that point, the chief of plastic surgery decided to move to Montana and retire. And I thought, well, this is my opening if I want to do my own business. I have the skill set now. I've learned a lot. I've been running the skincare division there. So I went ahead and decided to open my own business, and it's called Skin Perfect. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to marry clinical aesthetics with the feeling and the ambiance of the spa, the relaxation. So when clients came in, they got the treatment of both. They felt good, they felt the ambiance, but yet they were seeing the changes in the results. So I wanted to bring the Ohio State with the Aveda, so to speak. So now I have 4 spas. This is 9 years later. And I also patented a color analysis system. I wrote a book. I'm on my 2nd book. And I have my cosmetics and my skincare line. That's all happened in the last 9 years. But what we forget, and why I wanted to share that story with you, is sometimes we get stuck. And we start thinking when we can't pay our bills, we start panicking and we want to quit. So I'm here as living proof for all of you. Keep following your dream. Don't quit. I never imagined what was possible in my life. We sell ourselves short so many times because we always think we're not enough. And even what Petra was saying yesterday in her speech, she talked a lot about happiness and trying to find happiness, and a lot of that's within inside. And imagine if there was that day I did not show up in my own little tiny room. If I was sick or I didn't feel good or I just didn't show up, I would have missed that opportunity. So like I said yesterday, 90% of it is showing up and surrounding yourself with the best people, because they will help lead the way. And I do that with my staff now. I mentor them as much as possible. I see the potential in them. And I tell them, I guide them to where they should go, into what possible position they can grow into. One of my staff, I had her go on the news for me the other day because I do Fox News and I couldn't make that segment. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, you can do it. You're great. Oh my God, you're fine. She did a great job. So I'm here to tell you, I want you to stand up. Okay, go on, stand up, ladies. I want you to turn to the person next to you. Say, I got this. I got this. Shake their hand, give them a hug. You got it. The person behind you, say, I got this.